It's the end of 2020 and you still want to build a PC? Well, you're pretty brave because GPU and CPU stock and availability have been very bad recently. But let's talk about what's been available and what you can do if you're building a PC. Hey guys, Tiago here. Remember to subscribe if you like content like this and smash that like button. So let's talk about building a PC at the end of the year. There's actually still a lot of stuff going on, even though most of the major launches have happened. And of course, everything has been pretty much plagued with stock and availability issues. But that doesn't mean you should give up from building your PC, especially if you want to do one now so you can enjoy it over the holidays and when you have some time off. So let's talk about some of the key factors that you should know about. First, let's get the easy stuff out of the way. Most of the other components are fairly easy to find. Like if you want a case, you can find one pretty easily on Amazon or Micro Center, Newegg. Power supplies, a pretty decent selection. Of course, if you want to do like a small form factor build, some power supplies like the Corsair SF750 have certainly been a lot more sold out than other power supplies. There aren't any major sales going on like Black Friday or the sales before Christmas, but you still have a pretty decent selection for all of the other components. So that brings us around to the two more difficult components to get. That's going to be the GPU and the CPU. Now let's start with the GPU. If you want a newer GPU, and let's say you randomly check a website for your favorite store, be it Amazon, Newegg, or even Micro Center, do you have any chance of finding it actually in stock? For the most part, no. Sometimes, especially the Nvidia GPUs, have been coming in stock sporadically. Of course, Micro Center, and I know not everybody has them locally, this is going to be a US only thing. They have been restocking. A lot of people were able to get their RTX 3000 GPUs from Micro Center, so remember to check that out. And always the second best option continues to be the EVGA Queue System. I myself have gotten my EVGA RTX 3000 series GPU from them. It might take a little while, like mine took I think a little bit over a month from the time I signed up to the time I got the email, but depending on the exact GPU that you choose from them, it may be in higher demand, so it may be something more like 2 months or something like that. So you can certainly get a GPU that way. I recommend you guys, if you want an RTX 3000 GPU, at least sign up for it, because at least you get put into some type of queue system and a few months pass by, and at least you'll know that you'll have something coming without having to randomly, find it in stock or something like that. AMD GPUs such as the 6800, the 6800 XT, and the 6900 XT, they've seemed to be a little bit harder to find than the Nvidia GPUs, but occasionally they have also restocked. Basically, at the end of the day, if you want to get one of these GPUs, you're really going to have to inform yourself as to the best methods when stores restock, maybe even join like different Discord servers that have sort of like stock notifications. You're really going to have to go a little bit above and beyond in order to find it in stock, because there are so many people that want these GPUs that other people out there are going to be doing the same thing, so that way they can get the GPU before other people can, before it really hits the mainstream market. So I think most likely, if you really want to find one of these GPUs, you're going to have to fully inform yourself, keep an eye on different forums and different notification groups. That way you're just going to increase your chance at getting these GPUs before things start to normalize later on, probably in 2021. Now, what about the used market? Anything interesting there? Well, you could take a look at eBay or Facebook Marketplace for like 20 series GPUs, but I would advise you that prices are definitely pretty high right now because of the demand on the 3000 series GPUs. It's sort of passed over to the 20 series Nvidia GPUs, so a lot of people are definitely overpricing their GPUs, but you may get lucky and you may find somebody who just got an RTX 3000 series GPU, and they may be selling their like 2080 or 2060, 2080 Ti, whatever it is, for a fair price. And if you can find it for a decent price, something that's not really expensive, chances are you can buy it, use it until the new GPUs come out. Chances are you can buy it, get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and then eventually when the new stock comes in and it's more readily available, you should be able to sell it again on the secondary market, not really lose too much, and be able to upgrade at a later date. So that's certainly something to keep in mind. Just remember to sift out anything that's really substantially overpriced, or else you're just not going to be getting a very good price to performance performance ratio. And what about CPUs? Well, the Ryzen 5000 CPUs, just like the GPUs, have been mostly sold out, but in a lot of instances, some places have gotten restocking of certain SKUs. For example, the 5800X I've seen a lot more frequently than the higher Ryzen 5000 SKUs, as well as the 5600X. So if you search around and you apply many of those same principles as you would when you're looking for a GPU, you certainly may be able to run into one. And I know a lot of people ordered from B&H when these CPUs were first released around November 5th, and it seems like recently people have been getting, like 5900X, 5950X that they ordered all the way back in November, but at least they seem to be getting them. They seem to be shipping them out. So in my opinion, it continues to be better to wait even 2 months, but pay MSRP for one of these items that you want instead of, paying a scalper, getting ripped off, or trying to catch like a daily restocking of these items, which can be very difficult, and you may just frustrate yourself and probably take even longer than if you just signed up for something like B&H or pre-order, or even the EVGA Queue System that we mentioned for the GPUs. And don't forget that the Intel CPUs still seem to be readily available, and they're actually not really a bad value for what you're getting. I've seen the 10850K for around $399, and that's still a 10-core 20-thread CPU that performs almost just as well as the 10900K, which I've also seen for $499. Z490 motherboards are readily available. You definitely have a good amount of options, and something like this, if you're just doing gaming, you would have a fantastically performing gaming system for $399. Of course, ideally, most people do want to be on AMD and Ryzen. Even a 5600X in a lot of cases for gaming will beat a lot of the higher end Intel CPUs, but when it comes to multi-threaded performance, something like a 10-core 20-thread 10850K still is going to give you very good, well-rounded performance, not only for gaming, but even if you're doing content creation and things like that. So remember, if you can't get a Ryzen 5000, instead of overpaying like a scalper price or something like that, you can still get a really nice Intel CPU. They're much more readily available. Most of them seem to be in stock pretty much everywhere. And then eventually in the future, when stock normalizes, if you want to switch over to AMD or something like that, you can probably still get a good value back for whatever you bought now if you sell it on the used market. But certainly I think that path will be a better idea than having to pay scalper prices, or maybe even getting some of the Ryzen 3000 CPUs right now, just because the Ryzen 3000 CPUs, as good as they are as well, they're not going to be as good for gaming as even something from Intel 10th generation, and most importantly, they're also going to be severely overpriced now. All the prices have gone up because of the lack of availability of the Ryzen 5000. The Ryzen 3000 prices have been jacked up considerably, where they pretty much cost almost the MSRP of Ryzen 5000. I've seen like a 3900X for like $550. So that's definitely very, very expensive. So that's why I think if you can't find a Ryzen 5000 CPU, and that's definitely going to be your best bet at MSRP if you can get one, look at something from possibly Intel or Ryzen 3000 if you find it closer to their original MSRP and not really overpriced prices. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a little update as to what's going on. It's still very difficult to get a lot of these products, but it is possible. A lot of people have gotten them, but you're going to have to inform yourself and really, really keep an eye out in order to be able to catch one of these things in stock. So remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.